All right. How are we doing, everybody? Good?
Doing well, doing well.
Okay. Let's share our screen.
And checking with this cloning thing.
Let's not do that one. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started a little bit. Let's close this for now. Let's move this over. And let's start with a video. That was so anticlimactic. Now we can hear it, right? That's weird. Okay, there's music playing, but we can't hear it. That's strange. Can you guys hear that? All right. Excellent. This is a great video. Better with music. Why is the music not playing?
When you share it, did you choose audio and share it?
Yeah. Apparently not, though. Well, anyway, great video, great things. And I highly recommend everybody share it, but with sound would be better. So we are so excited to be the real estate company of choice, and we definitely are committed to setting the ultimate standard within the luxury real estate market, but I have to say within the real estate market in general, because guys, right now there are so many crazy things happening out there, so many crazy agents not paying attention to anything, doing crazy things. And so unfortunately, it has to be left to us to withhold the standards in the real estate community right now. So that is something that I think you guys are doing a fabulous job with, and I just want to congratulate each and every one of you on that. Today I have to share some very sad news that we have lost a very special team member, and I'd just like to play this in memory of her.
Yeah.
Miss Joan Bailey was very special to us, and I'm sorry that the music is it's beautiful, but we lost her to a battle with cancer. So
like when
I wanted to share that with each and every one of you. I didn't want you to see it on Facebook, like many of you have, but she's very near and dear to us, and her family will be having a celebration of life at their home on Saturday, June 19th from 5:30 to 8. We will always remember her, and if you'd like to join and share with her family, we please welcome you to come and just remember Joan. We've also created a GoFundMe for Joan, which I'll be posting not only to my Facebook today. Unfortunately, battle with cancer was very difficult, but worse when you don't have insurance. So in addition to having a horrible heartache that her family's going through with this loss, they're dealing with now the bills coming piling in. So I've started a GoFundMe for her. Anybody who care to contribute, certainly in lieu of flowers for sure, would be very, very welcome, and we'd be very thankful for anything that you care to share. I will also follow this up with a meeting with an email with the link also to the GoFundMe in case anybody would care to participate, and also with the details of the celebration of life, the date, the time, and also it's going to be outside. So if you do want to go, they say even bring a lawn chair if you care to choose to hang out. People are just going to be sharing their memories and thoughts of Joan, and it's just going to be a time to just say hi to the family.
Oh, she passed away.
We'd love to see you if you can make it.
Joan.
Hey, so
Harry, we can't hear
on to big
you.
and better things, exciting things. We have Miss Maria Smith and Mr. Phil Logus here with us today. And in this crazy market, in this crazy time, Phil, I was hoping that you could share with us.
No one can hear you. It's completely.
Me
Sure.
at all?
We can't hear you, Carrie.
Got somebody in the background talking like crazy.
Oh, really?
Nobody heard anything about that.
Nobody heard it.
Carrie,
Can
we
you- oh,
couldn't
you
really
guys
hear
can't
anything that you were saying.
But I think the problem is, can you guys not hear me at all? Hold on, let me stop my share.
They can't hear anything.
Can anybody hear me? You're cutting in and out. Maybe it's this thing. Let me
Cutting
turn
in
this
and
on.
out.
The screen share. Remember, sometimes I have problems with the stupid screen share.
This keeps asking for a 4-digit code, but it doesn't display the code on the TV.
Okay, it's not coming off there, which is really annoying. Turn this off. I hate this new screen mirroring thing. It's terrible. Come on. Sonny, do me a favor. Can you turn off that TV? right there? All right. Can you guys hear me at all? Because I'm having some massive trouble here with connectivity. How about now? Can anybody hear me better? Oh, Lord, whoever has a child needs to mute. That's not good. Let's see what we have here. Can I say mute all? All right. All right, guys, can you hear me now? Can anybody thumbs up?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I turn this thing off? Why is that not turning off?
No,
Yes.
still freezing.
I did.
Much better.
Click what again? Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe this is better. Is this better, guys? Can you hear me now? Can anyone unmute and talk to me?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Did anybody hear anything about Joan?
No,
Really? No.
Oh my gosh. All right, well,
You can play it again. And we'll hear
let's
from you.
try that. Let's see if it'll work again. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the heck. Let's try this one more time. All right, let's just go back real quick. Let's see if it plays. It's a stupid screen share. That's when I do that. It's with the Zoom. So for those of you who didn't know, we lost Joan to a battle of cancer, and she didn't suffer very long, so that was good. And her family will be hosting a celebration of life on Saturday, June 19th. I hate that we had to play music.
I'm sorry.
I'm back. Okay. So it'll be June 19th at our house, 5:30 to 8. Anybody who'd like to join, you can bring a lawn chair or just pop on in. I'll be sending an informational email about it. Unfortunately, in addition to losing a wonderful member, they also had no insurance. And so a battle with cancer was very hard on Joan, and now the family is also being berated with all sorts of bills that have been piling up. So I started a GoFundMe. So anybody who would care to share, I will be posting that onto my Facebook and sharing it in an email with anybody who would care to share. We'll miss Joan very much. She was a wonderful member of our team. Okay, now back to Mr. Phil Logus, who is here with us today. Mr. Phil, please share with us some wonderful insights on how we can handle this big mess that we have going on right now. So if you can share with us some of the things you're seeing, some of the interesting challenges we're seeing, and I'd really love some information on these, the people who are putting in no appraisal contingencies and how legally any of that could be upheld. Any information you have would be great. You're on.
Well, yeah, thank you. Again, sorry to hear about Joan. That's terrible. So a couple of things that we're seeing. First of all, we had just out of coincidence, two people who inspections ended on Memorial Day, and under the contract, it goes to the next day, but the only reference in the contract to 5 p.m. is on that day. And so unfortunately, we had two people who missed their cancellation deadlines because they thought they could cancel to midnight. So that's just one thing to bear in mind. So the 4th of July is being observed on the 5th this year, since it's on a Sunday, which would be a legal holiday. So just remember to bear in mind, so we don't have those issues again, that if any of your deadlines go to the next day, it's at 5 o'clock. The other thing, we're seeing a lot of appraisal contingencies, and we discussed this once before with some of the language, but that we had given. I've seen appraisal contingencies where people, let's say the house is $500,000, the people are offering 525, but they're putting an appraisal contingency in, at 500, which if you represent the seller, that's good, because what you're saying is, hey, you're offering more money than what we've asked, so you're going to take the risk. So they're adding an appraisal contingency that says that it has to appraise at the asking price. So anything they pay over that is basically on a cash basis. But when you do that, remember that there is the built-in appraisal contingency, and that you have to delete that provision. And I can tell you specifically what that is. If you have a pen, whenever you have an appraisal contingency, you have the seller and you're going to modify it. They're willing to pay over the appraisal contingency. You have to delete the provision that states it is Article 8(2), number 7. Says if loan approval has been obtained or deemed to have been obtained as provided above, and buyer fails to close, the deposit shall be paid to the seller unless failure to close is. And then number 3 says appraisal of the property obtained by buyer's lender is insufficient to meet the terms of the loan approval, in which event buyer shall be refunded the deposit. Remember, you have to delete that provision if they're willing to pay more. And in any event, send me the contract and I'll help you through it.
So are you saying that, Phil, you would recommend us crossing that section out if we're going to put under additional terms that we are waiving an appraisal contingency, to actually cross that out?
Well, if you have the seller, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Well said.
Yeah.
That's a Gary answer.
Yeah.
Who are you representing here?
Yeah. If you have the buyer and they're willing to pay over that amount, you can put an appraisal contingency and put an amount in the appraisal contingency rider that your client's satisfied with. So in other words, and to make sure that I would leave this provision alone, by the way, if I represented the buyer. But again, in our scenario, if they're paying $525,000 on a house that's listed for $500,000, then their appraisal contingency, they should use the extra rider and put in the amount of $500,000, and then they're on a cash basis on the balance.
Everybody got that? So again, if you are representing the seller, that's what we want to see. We want to see them cross out that provision that the terms of the appraisal must meet the terms of the loan approval. And they can give us a rider that is the appraisal addendum that would say up to the amount that they're willing to accept. and then they're not covered. So that means that they are modifying their financing contingency and they can no longer cancel based upon the loan. Now, here's a question for you, Phil. Oh, actually, this is a better question for Maria. So we're going to go take that to Maria in a second. So we'll hold
Yeah.
that. I have a question for
Sure.
Maria on that because the lender may disagree. So, but because you probably can consider it a denial based on other reasons, correct?
If they are short cash to close.
Yeah. So Maria is saying if they're short cash to close, it's really not going to matter because they still can get out in the financing contingency. But it is an excellent point that if you have a seller, you have a better shot at making them actually come to the table with the cash and hopefully.
Right.
You just have to know what the intention is of your buyer too.
Yeah.
Like if they for sure want to buy this thing no matter what, then.
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
As the seller, you don't know what their intention.
But more
is.
importantly, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side, you must talk to that lender. Talk to the lender. Are they capable to qualify? Right? We need to know that. So that's a really important issue. So Phil, what else are you seeing in terms of these crazy things? What about, let me ask you this, because in my opinion, it's only my opinion, I'm not an attorney, you are, that's why I'm asking you. I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming up in the future because buyers are desperate and they're waiving inspection. And so they're using it as this contract and saying 0 days for inspection. Now, if we do that, obviously the only way I'm even going to allow that is if you do a hold harmless. But even still, I don't like it. But let's say you didn't do that. Later, they close on the house, they find out they have polybutylene piping, or they find out that there's a leak in the roof, or they find out something bad like that. What is the chances that they can't come back to you and sue you, saying you were supposed to protect me?
Well, so a couple of things.
So the sellers-
Yeah, I'm assuming you're representing the buyer in this,
Yeah.
this situation. You're
Yeah.
getting a seller's disclosure. You should ask for your seller's disclosure.
But polybutylene piping's not on the disclosure.
Well, so a couple of things you need to explain, especially if you have out-of-state buyers. First time, we're getting a lot of those, right? People are fleeing the lockdown states, they're coming here, and they don't understand that Florida is buyer beware, right? That is the generalized law in the state of Florida. And there's a case that's called Johnson v. Davis. It's a landmark case, and you see it, the language in your contract in there, and the language is a three-pronged test. The seller has to disclose, number one, things that the seller knew or should have known. Number two, things that are not readily observable by the buyer. And three, that materially affect the value of the property. So the key, so this law is basically designed for situations where the schools district is being rezoned, right? And we're not going into as desirable of a school district. The law was not really designed for anything that can be inspected, because anything that can be inspected is readily observable. If you can hire an inspector to find something like polybutylene piping, then that's readily observable. So this was rezoning requests, school districting issues, and there are some physical aspects. For example, buried tanks. Some in Winter Park, they have some buried propane tanks or kerosene tanks, and a couple of things. For example, flooding. Right. Well, every time it rains hard, it floods. That's things that can't be inspected, that need to be disclosed. But if you have a buyer, you need to, and you're not a lawyer, but you need to read to them that provision of the contract and say, it's buyer beware here. If you don't want to inspect, there's little recourse that you can have against the seller. And then you send them an email and you tell them the same thing in writing.
Okay.
So it's very, very difficult to sue a seller for failing to disclose because of that three-pronged test. And the fact that they can't sue the seller is, the chances are they don't have recourse against you. But, I always, when I give seminars, I say, please correspond in writing with your client. And because, it's the he said, she said, and that's why this whole a seller's disclosure started, by the way, because the buyer would sue the seller for failure to disclose. And then what would the seller do? They turn right around and sue their realtor because they said, well, I told you that. I told you it flooded. I told you when it rained hard, it flooded. Well, no, you didn't. So now you have this form. The form's not there to protect the buyer. Let's all understand that. That form is there to protect you as the listing agent. So that's you know, are there going to be a lot of lawsuits? There's a lot of lawsuits. People are just unhappy with the house and they sue everybody. And, you know, you can't prevent that. But what you can do is you can document your file. You can explain in writing to your buyer that if they waive their right to inspect, they're waiving, you know, if they're just going to rely on a seller's disclosure, they're going to have a hard time. So hopefully that answers the question.
To that point, just to clarify, so what about if they're not there? If these are buyers from out of town that are buying virtually, you're doing the walkthrough, you're showing them the walkthrough virtually, they've waived their inspection. Yeah, exactly. Now they come down and say, oh my God, you didn't tell me. Or you said, for example, you said this was granite. This isn't granite. This is Formica. We had that. I don't know how the agent did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't granite, but it looked like granite. It really wasn't that good for Micah. I don't really know. But so really, where's the liability there for the agent?
Yeah, if you have a person buying sight unseen,
Mhm.
I would give them a big disclosure. I said, look, I'm happy to do a FaceTime and walk through, but you know, I'm not guaranteeing that anything is you know, the way you think it is, unless you come here personally and you know, walk through the house and get an inspection. But you know, there's probably, you know, there's a fine line, unfortunately, in this business where, you know, I could certainly draw up documents that you know, can protect you. Of course, it's probably going to scare your buyer to death, and you know, might leave a bad taste in their mouth. But you know, there are certain things that you have to be careful of when people buy sight unseen. I mean, I've seen a couple of horror stories, and to buy sight unseen and then not do an inspection on top of that is a disaster waiting to happen.
How about let's just add that a little bit to the pot there. You're on both sides of the deal.
Oh, boy, that's really bad. That's
legally, that's really bad. So
yeah,
I need to quote that, Phil. According to Phil, that's just.
That's one of those where you put your carrier on notice before you ever go on under contract.
So here's my point, and I think this is a great thing, and I thank you. If you are going to have a seller that you are representing, and there's going to be a buyer who wants to buy sight unseen, refer it out to somebody in our office. Don't be on both sides of that deal.
Yeah,
You're opening yourself up for a huge liability. Tony, you have a question?
It just seems like that could be solved if you have, and just as a, you know, buyer acknowledges an exclusive broker buyer agreement that they're buying this sight unseen and they're indemnifying the agent for what they may or not see because the agent is not a licensed home inspector.
That all sounds good. We have a hold harmless and we have things, but let's be honest, we live in a litigious society and people are going to sue because they're mad.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like, right? Would you not agree, Phil? Most of these lawsuits are people who are just angry.
well, we had a situation years ago with a client bought a house on the Wekiva River and wanted the Wekiva River had palmettos and brush, and he wanted it to look like New Smyrna Beach. So he took a front loader and he just plowed everything right into the Wekiva River to make it look like a lakefront lot. And the St. John's Water District Management came out and fined him $250 a day until he put everything back. And so guess what this buyer did? He sued everybody. He sued both realtors. He sued the seller for, failure to disclose. There was a permit recorded in the public. I mean, he lost the case. It was a terrible case, but he sued everybody and the lawyer took it. So the point is I can't guarantee that no one's going to sue you, but
Right.
certainly if you're in that situation, you can, you can lessen your liability by putting someone else on the other side. And hopefully they'll refer you one of those cases as well. Once you refer to them, then they can refer back to you. So it's not like you're potentially losing out on a double commission. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Does anyone
Yes.
have any questions for Phil? I love having a lawyer who actually can tell us the legal truth. I always say I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV. I understand it's fair contract. Hey, Phil, did you ever read that Zillow contract?
I did. I can tell you that not a fan.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
a mess, right? It's a mess.
Yeah,
You
it
like
is
how
a
they
mess.
changed the
And
effective date? Zillow contract.
yeah, I'm just a believer in this business. I bought a vacation home out of state, and I used a realtor, and I trusted a realtor. And could I have bought it on Zillow? Maybe, yeah, but it's that contract is indicative of what they're trying to do, which is steer business away from that. But not to make your heads any bigger, but you guys play a very important role in the marketplace, and especially with out of state customers. So are there people who are going to use that? Yeah, probably, but I think they're really, especially on some of the who pays what costs and things like that are kind of out of whack with the what's the standards in the community. So,
Well, thank you so much, Phil.
all right,
Appreciate you being here as always. And if
Take care.
anyone else has any questions, they can reach out to Phil.
all
Thanks.
right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Maria, turn your volume on. I'll turn mine off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that goes.
Hold on. Turn your volume up.
I can do that.
Can everybody hear?
You're sitting in the room. Hold on, I can't find anything. How's that? Can y'all hear me okay?
Can somebody give a hand thumbs up? Can we get here, Maria? Daniel, can you?
Oh, Dexter says yes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to touch on a couple things. I'm gonna go a little negative in the beginning, and then I'll go a little bit better at the end. So a couple of things. We're still having appraisal issues. Oh, I'm up there now. So we're still having appraisal issues. Of course, you guys are expecting it because you're writing contracts at above list price. So it's still happening, but people are still closing. They're still paying the amounts, at least on the buyers that I've had that you guys have given me and outside of here. So it's all still working out. And believe it or not, some of the appraisals are still coming in at a good price, even if it's over list price. So it's working out well. The timing is not great though, guys. If you guys want to do a contract where we're closing in 30 days or less, I have to order the appraisal before you get your home inspection done. Unless you're doing your home inspection in the first day or two of the contract, I can't wait 7 to 10 days and then order an appraisal. And this is industry-wide. It's not me. It's just the way of the world right now. It's taken a long time to get these appraisals in. So we can still close within 30 days, but just let your buyer know they're going to have to bite the bullet, pay for the appraisal up front and right away.
Well, let's talk about briefly, if you actually said crossing out that provision in the contract that Phil had recommended, saying that you're waiving that part of the inspection, does it really still take away the opportunity from the lender to deny that?
Not really. I don't think so, because if they don't have enough money to pay the difference, now hopefully you would have already, everybody's aware, and from the beginning we would know that they have enough money to pay for this regardless of what it appraises for. But technically, especially if it's not me, if it's someone you don't know, as far as the lender, they can just, they'll deny it for another reason. You know, oh, they couldn't liquidate that 401k as they thought they could. You know, there's ways to get out of it if someone wants to get out of it bad enough. So hopefully the buyer really wants it, and that's why they're putting in the offers that they're putting in and writing the offers the way they are, that they actually are sincere about wanting the house. But you just don't know what's in someone's, you know, they may think, oh, it's going to appraise low and then I can get it for cheaper too, you know, in their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of the bummer. A little bit of a bummer is we talked about this a month or so ago. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are limiting the second home and investment properties to 7% of their portfolio. So 7% of all the loans that are being done in the nation that are being sold to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are limited to 7% of the total loans.
For any.
So that's telling investment and second home.
Investment.
Invest. So basically what they're saying is primary residences all day long, no problem. But many companies have already either gotten rid of a second home or an investment property for a loan. We're still doing them, but make sure if you have a pre-approval from somebody that is a little bit aged, that it's a second home, particularly investment property, make sure that lender's still writing that business because they get capped at 7%. So we keep a lot of stuff in our portfolio. We still sell stuff, but we have not bumped. And so what happens when a product is harder to get, the prices go up. So the prices on investment property used to be, it was about a 2%. Let's say if you could get 3% on a 30-year fixed for an investment property, you would still get 3%, but it would cost you maybe 2 points.
Okay, so it's 200 basis points is going up?
It's even worse. So now I just quoted one yesterday for an investment property, 4.625 on an investment property, putting 20% down. And you still had to pay a point.
And still paying points.
Paid one, yeah. Not every deal is going to be a little different because their credit scores. And if you can ask your investor to put at least 25% down, interest rate drops dramatically also. But at 20% down, we're in the mid to high 4s now. And now second homes, we have never raised our price at all on second homes. Fannie Mae hasn't really come down on that yet. So second homes, you can still get pretty much normal interest rates, around 3%, somewhere around there.
If the buyer's a self-employed person, they're buying a second home, are you guys allowing them to still close without raising the price if they want to close in the LLC?
No, LLCs are, Fannie Mae doesn't even accept that in an LLC. It'll have to be something in our portfolio. And typically that's going to be tough. To do an investment property LLC, you're going to be off grid with some funky private lender.
I still want to go to the guy in the back room, but hey, I want you
You're going to Mr. Money.
It might be, yeah.
one.
We have now a second home. I'll double check in our portfolio. We may be able to do something like that.
That's what I was asking, because I know it's a little bit different with second homes and investment properties. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Miss Maria?
But I have good news. Wait,
Yeah.
the good news.
Yeah.
So good news part, because I had to start with some of the negatives, but the good news is we now have in our portfolio, they're hungry again. So again, you can always tell when somebody wants a product and when they don't. They are trying to build our balance sheet, our book. So our portfolio interest rate, I locked in somebody yesterday on a jumbo, 10% down, no PMI, at 3% on a 30-year fixed.
Wow.
No PMI jumbo.
Wow.
So that is a killer product.
What FICO?
The minimum I think is a 680. You're not going to get that price, but this guy was a 740 and I locked him at 3%, 90%, no PMI. And then a jumbo, just so you know, I had priced both ways for him on a jumbo product. He could have gotten potentially maybe 2.875, but he would have had PMI. And PMI is going to be, yeah, a lot of money. So also, so we have the doctor loan that we can do up to 100% to 750. That now has a 30-year fix. Well, we always had a 30-year fixed on the doctor, but now it's opened up to all of our portfolio 30-year fixed.
Wow.
So it's a sweet, sweet deal right now. And like I said, they're pricing it. You can tell they want it because they're pricing it well.
Yeah.
So.
That is good.
Well, thank you for that good news, Miss Maria. Anybody have a question for Maria?
Yeah, on the appraisal, if you're on the sell side, we want to change that on the contract, that we want them to order the appraisal ASAP. Y'all are both muted, so I can't hear you.
Sorry.
No, I'm in
All right, can you hear me, Dexter? So you're on the sell side and you want to make sure that the buyer orders the appraisal ASAP. Yes, I would recommend that. Unless for some reason they can get now I had one last week where the inspector and the appraiser were there on the same day. So that just, we got lucky there. But yeah, you want to order it as soon as you can. Just because it's taken a couple of weeks, and if you're going to have to renegotiate anything, you don't want to do that the week before closing. It's stressful for everybody to try to renegotiate something. Everybody's trying to pack and move, and you know, you don't want to have to change all the numbers at the last minute. So as soon as you can do it, just let the buyers know they need to order. That's what I would do. Even if it's not a rush, even if you still want to get that appraisal ordered right away, just because it's taken a couple of weeks.
Are you seeing more of the loans waiving an appraisal? Like,
Yeah, the appraisal waivers that are online with Fannie and
Mhm,
Freddie. So what you're
mhm.
talking about?
well,
The
when they
system
have
ones?
when they have like a community where they just
Yep.
don't.
Yep, I had 2 last week.
Okay,
So-
and then also, are you seeing more of the ones that are, what do they call it? Yeah, maybe they call it tabletop, so they don't even actually send somebody out. They
Oh, a
just do
desktop or a
desktop.
drive-by?
Yes.
That I don't get. We don't typically get that.
just
I
have
either
one of
get
those.
a full-on appraisal or none.
Okay.
I don't typically get, now I did get an exception the other day for someone to do a drive-by essentially without going in because there were some extenuating circumstances with getting into the house because of an illness and things like that. But that was an unusual exception. So, yes, you'll get appraisal waiver online. Better.
Well, thank you, Miss Maria. That was exciting. And if anybody has any questions, reach out to Maria Smith. She's always here for us and she's amazing. Okay, so we're just going to continue on. We got a couple other things to share. Okay. Number 1, private placement. It's here. Woo! Who's using it? Okay. Emily used it. I can tell you right here. Emily, Elsie, Sharon Brand. That's who's used it so far. So this is it, guys. What do you do? What is private placement? Private placement is our opportunity to sell our own inventory before it hits the market. This is the only workaround with the NAR Clear Cooperation. NAR Clear Cooperation says if you publicly market a property, you have 1 business day to get it on the MLS. This is not public. We are allowed to market within our own company. And that means all of Central Florida, we could get it done to Naples if we want. We could get it to North Carolina if we want, because we are one company. So we are really benefiting this opportunity. So for us, we've got to use this. Now, you as an agent, you have a buyer. God help you, right? We all know it's really hard to get a property for a buyer right now. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, right? So what do? You log into your hub, you go under listings, and there's private placement. And this way you can see, okay, these are the properties that are going to be coming online. Now, we know we have a listing agreement because you can't enter it into private placement unless you have an effective listing agreement, right? So we know we have a listing agreement, but we don't have any photos in here. This is not being syndicated anywhere else, just to us. Right. So once you put this into private placement, it doesn't mean you should start marketing it, right? Because you can't. You have to wait. You have 1 business day if you do any marketing. So, let's say you want to have a home that's on the market on Monday. Could you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday start screaming and doing open houses and doing coming soons and Yeah, you can. You can, but you better be on the market by Monday, because if you're not, $2,500 fine to you, the agent. So this does not interfere with that. We could do this for a month. If you had a seller who says, you know, I have to do some work on the property, you say, no problem. We're going to sign the listing agreement right now. We're going to move out the effective date. So the date on the front page of that contract, on that listing agreement, you put out to September. It doesn't matter. And you say, listen, we're going to keep it at September right now for compliance. But if your home is ready in a week, if it's ready in 2 weeks, whenever it's ready, we can put it on the MLS. But the advantage here is we could still be marketing your home internally with our wonderful top producing agents. We are Sotheby's agents. We are known to be the best agents. Why do you think Compass keeps calling you? I'm lying to you, but it's all they can do. So listen, everybody knows in the industry, we have amazing agents, right? And so this is a great opportunity for you to also get a listing. If you say, well, I'm not really sure if I want to get on the market, no worries. We'll take an active listing agreement. We'll put out the date to when we think you might want to go on the market, but we can internally market this. So in case we get an offer, we can go ahead and get that offer. And you, by the way, as an agent, can still get credit on the MLS. There's two ways we could do it. One, we can wait till it closes and put in data sold entry only. The other way is we could, as soon as we have an actual effective agreement to purchase this home, we could put it on the MLS and then pend it. MLS is allowing us to do that. That used to be a big red flag. But after we had COVID come into play and they said you could keep it active on the market, even if you couldn't show it, remember, as long as you had a virtual open houses, they've lessened up on a little bit of those restrictions for us because of COVID. So that is a great opportunity. So don't miss out this private placement. So what do you need to do to get your home in private placement? I thought you had a question.
I just want to make sure people don't go to the house.
Yeah. When you have that information in there, that's a good point. Don't show up at the house. Obviously, the seller is not expecting you, right? Contact the agent. Emily, Sharon, Elsie, Maggie. Don't just say, hey, knock on the door. I'm with Sotheby's. I'm here to see your house. I think we're all smart enough to know that, but just in case, we don't want that to happen. So how do you do it? Well, you'll notice that I added to the listing folder, residential, and the condo folder, temporary private placement entry form. So this is the form, guys, right here. And this is all you need to worry about, the top half of this form. You need to put the property address, who the listing agent is, bedrooms, bathrooms, list date, expire date. You need to have a little information about the property description and some property remarks. It doesn't need to be the whole full-blown thing. You know, this is with a pool or this is in a cul-de-sac or whatever you want to say. And the seller information and the listing price. This gets put into our systems only. And this will go ahead and feed through the hub only. So you're signing up here to say you understand that by doing this, that doesn't mean you can go out and start publicly marketing this, right? It's not a waiver for MLS. Right. It is an allowable opportunity through MLS and through NAR-Clear Cooperation that we can share it amongst ourselves, okay? So when you sign that, you're acknowledging the fact that I still know if I decide to go out and start screaming and doing open houses and screaming coming soon, you better be on the MLS within 1 business day. And people are watching. So absolutely make sure of that. That also includes a sign, guys. Don't put a sign up unless you're on the market. You have 1 business day when that sign goes up. Okay, everybody clear on that? Now, when you have that exclusive right of sale listing agreement, I don't need the property description. I don't need the seller's disclosures. I don't even need the piece of wire fraud and the piece of disclosures, although it's always good to get. What I do need is this form and an effective listing agreement. So just one more time, what makes an effective listing agreement? All parties have signed and delivered, right? So that, because we're not Zillow. So that means that you need to sign it first. If you sign that listing agreement first, then you send it for signatures. It is now an effective agreement because as soon as they sign it, it's been delivered to them. Fabulous, right? Don't wait for me. It has nothing to do with me. I give each and every one of you the authority to sign in my stead. I will sign next to you just so you know that I've looked at it, but for compliance purposes and everything else, I don't even need to sign it. It says listing broker or agent, right? Everybody good with that? Any questions? Once you have that signed and delivered and you have this form filled in there, you send us a note from the file and you say, I want to use private placement. And then my team Cindy, Jennifer, and Caroline will take care of the rest. Everybody good?
Yes, question.
Yes, hit me.
Okay, so for two listings that Emily and I have coming up, we are going to have them sign the listing agreement today because I did not know anything about that. Yes, but so what do I have to do since I'm just putting both on the market next week?
Just have them, you fill out this form as soon as you have them sign it. That's it. And
Yeah,
let
but-
us know.
But yeah, but the listing agreement will be signed today.
Yep.
And then what do I do to wait and not have to put the listing on the market until next week? What form do I have to fill out?
No form. All you need to do is put the date on the first page of the contract next week. You post date that listing agreement, right?
Okay.
When you're post dating that listing agreement, the verbiage we added to the back of every listing agreement, you'll see it, states that the seller and broker understand that once this is executed, we are in an effective listing agreement, even though the date on the front page could be months out. It doesn't matter. We're still an effective listing agreement. So that protects you from the neighbor coming over and saying, oh, I'll do it for 4%, right? So this is your opportunity. We have an enforceable listing agreement, but we do not need to be on the MLS. And let's say you put the date out to September 1st. You don't even have to be in the market by September 1st. You have 5 business days from the date you wrote on the first page. Everybody clear? Now, let's say I had a situation with an agent who I won't say who they are right now, but they had text me later. I'll tell you. No, they had signed a listing agreement, a couple actually, and in one case or another, they have not been able to go on the MLS yet. Those sellers were all over the place. Situations happened. What do? They're out of compliance. We can't do a waiver. What do you do? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you. You modify, you can either do a listing modification. I really don't like that because it makes the seller think, especially if they're kind of already loosey-goosey, we don't want them to think they can modify things. Just take that same listing agreement, cross out the date, add a new start date, and have everybody initial. That's all you need to do. Now we're in compliance. Everybody good? You change the effective date of that listing agreement, the front page. Everybody good? We're still in a listing agreement because we've got the verbiage protecting us because it's when it was signed and delivered. So that happened in this case, like back in May. But you know, according to MLS, we would have needed to be on the market in 5 business days. We weren't. We didn't market it, but still we're out of compliance. So what you need to do is change that date to move it out a month. I don't care because remember, you can always go on the MLS early. Give yourself space in that date, that front date. Everybody know the date I'm talking about, right? The effective date on the listing agreement, the first page. Give yourself time on that. It's 5 business days from that date. You have to be on the MLS. Everybody clear? Okay, wonderful. Testimonial tree is here. Woo! Has anybody been receiving these? Nice. Miss Emily got one. Well, I can tell you what, I was just working with Tasha. She's like, oh, yeah. She has 33. It is awesome. We are sending them out for you. So we are sending them to your customers. They're coming in here with rave reviews. And if it's a 4 or a 5 star, that's right, Jules, you're gonna get rave reviews, my friend. 4 or 5 star, it automatically will go and feed to our website and it will feed to realtor.com. Automatically. Now, you have to make sure you go in here under your profile and you connect your realtor.com and you connect your Zillow if you want to. You can connect your Facebook, you connect LinkedIn and Twitter. These are the things you can connect because if it's a 4 or 5 star, they will get your seller or buyer will get a message that says, would you like to share this on Facebook? Would you like to share this on Zillow? And if they click yes, it'll, because you've linked it, will go to your spot on your Facebook or onto Zillow where it will go ahead and post, okay?
What about Google, Carrie, please?
What was that?
Google reviews.
Google reviews, you know, you're supposed to be able to syndicate it there as well. So that's a great question. I think we might need to get with Mode on that because honestly, I've been playing in the testimonial tree. As a matter of fact, we can look at it. Let me stop my share real quick. Oh, actually, that's not true. I should keep my share. Sorry, 1 second. Share. I'm just going to stop this. And then let's go over here. I had testimony. So this is how you get to testimonial tree, guys. We didn't hide it. It's in your hub right here, testimonial tree. Click on this. Now, this is where you go when you want to make sure it's linked, but I have not found, Bruno, and that was a great question, a way to link it to, and I could just have a different dashboard because I'm a manager. But I was looking at Tasha's this morning and I didn't see it either on hers. Under widgets, there's some really cool things where you can add a Facebook tab. So you can add a tab right to your Facebook account that adds these testimonials. Super cool. You can
Whoa.
actually add a widget that you can, if you have another website, you can take the source code and paste it right on in, and you can make it look any way you want to. They've got some really cool little kind of views. We actually used on Tasha's website, the slider one down here. So it rotates and they just click on it. So, you know, depending where you want to put it. So you can add this, but it's supposed to also link, to your point, in my understanding, if they requested, to your Google. I have not found where to do that. So we'll just have to follow up with Mode. I will be doing a training on this month. Just don't want to do it until I know exactly where everything is. So it probably won't be Monday, but it could be next Thursday. Give me a little time. But this is a really great thing. Now, the other thing I want, you can manage your testimonials. I, as a manager, Tatiani had a great one, but her person misspelled outstanding. She put 2 I's instead of OU. So I was able to go in there and just fix the spelling error, right? I can do those things. If it's less than a 4, it's not going to go anywhere anyway. So no one's going to see that. So only 4 and 5 stars will get syndicated automatically, right? But you will have access to all of these. If you log into your testimonial tree, it's all right here on your dashboard, and you can create your widgets. You can collect. So this is another thing. Let's say you have other people that closed with you maybe a while ago, but they're a great, wonderful source for you to get a referral from. You can go ahead and automate and send them the request for the review. You definitely can do that. So that's a really great thing. You have review generation right here. So that's how you can manage it. You can check out your history. And then you can create reports. And these are cool because you can create a whole page of your testimonials that you can add to your listing package, right? Just take your top reviews that you like and add them to your listing package. So we've got some really cool things here. Again, I will be doing a training on this maybe next Thursday. I figure all the things out, but I'll let you know for sure. But this is a great tool. So if anybody hasn't had the opportunity to use it, hop in, start playing around, make sure all your information's there, because your customers are getting these. As soon as you close, we are sending them for you. So yay. Yes, Emily.
If you initiated, I sent it because it hasn't notified that I closed yet. And that was Friday because of the holiday. So I sent them the link from here.
Oh, they might get 2.
But if he's already gotten it,
I
guess I'll just ignore it.
That's like a Mode. Let's ask Mode that. So Emily's question is a good one. She was so excited that she actually sent them the link before we did. So the question is, will they get 2 links? In that instance, probably. I don't know. Yeah. So that's a Mode thing. Remember, these are marketing things. I always here to support you, but let's be honest, I know when it's outside my scope, and so that's outside my scope. Okay. Another thing I want to share with you guys. Has anybody looked in here? We have Move Concierge. Woo! So again, you go to it right from your hub. Oh, of course. Now I have to relog into my hub. That was so stupid, right? Because I was just in there. Okay. Oh my God, seriously? Any day now. Okay, here we go. So here is Move Concierge, guys. In here, you can invite a buyer. You can invite a seller. Remember, we are going to be inviting people for you as well. However, you can, let's say you've got somebody that you're talking to that may be moving here from California, but they're not ready yet. But this is information that they can get started. You have all sorts of terrific things in here. Let's look at the platform. Let's take a quick. You can find checklists in here. So you can even customize a checklist that you want to send them. So there's a great one in here, but if you want to edit this, you can. So arrange daycare babysitting for moving moving day. Well, maybe these people don't have that. You want to take that off your list. You know, book a truck rental. These are really good. The timeframes are already set up by folks that do this for a living. But if you feel like, okay, we need to do something a little bit more, we forgot to add something, you can edit this anytime. But this is a great checklist. You can see right here your vendors. You can view vendors, and this is what your customers are going to see. They're going to see this really nice page, and then they're going to be able to click on this and say, yeah, I need some help with pool cleaning. And then you can request vendors, and they will find vendors. And if you say request vendors, you can give them a little information about what you're looking. I just need somebody to help clean my pool weekly, monthly, once a time. I want to do a new resurfacing, whatever that is. And so this is what your customers will be seeing, which is really nice. Let's go back over here.
Does
Mhm.
the vendor automatically get their contact info and they call them back like Angie's list? Because I've noticed.
No, Move Concierge connects the two. So remember, there's they can play online, and they can also get called by their concierge, and that's their concierge for life, which is pretty crazy. So 5 years down the line, if they're like, you know what, I'm really ready to resurface my pool, they can reach out to their Move Concierge person. And if we don't have people who necessarily resurface pools, they will actually find those people that resurface the pools, get them bids and give it to them. So it's a great service and it's free to them. Mhm.
Will it push them or do we need to invite them?
So this is supposed to be an automatic invite. Hey, Cindy, are you guys the ones inviting? Cindy Pennington,
I just don't want.
Jennifer Rosado, Caroline Carotis. So I will verify that for you. My understanding is that we would be inviting your customers. But you know, if you have somebody, as soon as you have a listing or a contract, right? We don't know about them unless they're in the system, and you got to submit the deal to us, right, guys? Like those of you are like, oh, by the way, I have a deal and it's closing today. And we're like, really? Like, doesn't mean we knew because it was in Duluth. Those people didn't get it, okay? So it has to be, you gotta tell us, hey, I got a listing. Hey, I got to buy a deal. We gotta, yeah, we don't know.
We have not heard.
What did Cindy say?
Or inviting.
It may not be done from Cindy. It could be done from Dash actually, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll find that out for you. But I do know it was supposed to be on our side, but it would only be done once we're notified that we actually have a listing or a contract. That's
Can you
important.
just look at the list of vendors?
Yes, you can. That's a great idea. You can look at my vendors and let's see what we got. No problem. And I am not seeing my vendors. So I've just started playing on this. Maybe you guys have some stuff that I don't have. I have no clients in mine either, so I don't know. Also, as a manager, I may not be set up to a specific area or office. So it's very hard when I'm in here playing because I don't really know if that's what you're seeing. But we will do more trainings on Move Concierge also, so I know that marketing will do it. If you need me to do one, I will as well. But I just wanted you to know this is here, this is started, this is out and running, and it would be a great thing if you've got, especially where you're talking to people and they're thinking of moving, buying or selling, there's a lot of things you have to do, and they can take care of cable companies for you. They can take care of utilities for them. They can take care of all these really great, they can even change your address with the postal service, things that you don't think about. So it just makes your life easier. So I highly recommend.
And they have a person? Like,
they have their own
But it's
person. Now, if
not
they
us.
did it on, it's not us.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not us. So they have their own, if they call the person they've called and they got, that is their person. Whether it's Sam, that they have Sam for life, that is the person they reach out to. If they do it online, they may not have Sam, right? Like, I don't know how the online portal works, but I do know that if they speak to a customer representative from Move Concierge, then they have that person forever. Yep. Any questions? Are we good on that? I mean, with my limited knowledge. Okay. Yay. Very exciting. That's Move Concierge. Okay, so here's Tatiana's page. I just wanted to show you. So you can see that we as a company, so don't know who's doing it, has sent 11 invites to her customers, and 4 of them have opened it. And so then we can see here, these are the customers that have already opened it, delivered, and let's say they had said to you, I didn't get one. You can hit resend, and it will resend that invite to them. So as an agent, you see your page is so much different than mine. It is a little challenging as a manager. That's why I went in Tatiani, poor Tatiani, I always go in as Tatiani. But you can see that she's already had the day that they were invited on, and look at this, 5/21, 5/20, a lot of people on 5/20. And these are their moving dates that are already in there. How do we know they're in there? Because when they submitted the contract to us, the contract of the listing, we already know the close date, right? So we're assuming the move date is the close date. The statuses of what happened with that email. And again, we can always edit it as well. We can edit that email. So this is something as an agent you can see to see if any of your customers have already been invited. All right. Any questions about any of that we covered? No? Okay, so we're running out of time, so I'll go a little quicker. So I want you to see some things going on in the market. Are we surprised that the inventory is still down? No. But what I want you to see is look at the listings, guys. Listings are way up, way up. What does that mean? Get out there, talk to people, send your equity letters, send your postcards, make connections. People have decided that they're comfortable moving. And that is the exciting thing. So I am seeing this across the board. Here's Lake Nona, totally down. Look how low our inventory, below 1 month supply of inventory. But even with that, our listings are still climbing up, especially in the 32832 zip code. Here is Winter Garden. Again, they are under 1 month supply for, which is at Windermere Winter Garden. I have to move this to see. That is for Winter Garden. Windermere is just slightly above 1 month. But even in both, the listings are starting to climb up. So people are moving. So what does that mean to you? Start prospecting if you haven't been doing it, and keep on it if you have. Claremont, Dawn, woo, look at this. Your inventory is really low. You're at not even half a month, but the listings are really shooting up. People are getting excited about moving. So I just wanted you to see that. It's a very exciting thing for me to see, even in such a low inventory market, that we're seeing such an increase in listings everywhere across the board. I didn't see anywhere that the listings were down. So that is really cool. And does that mean that we'll see some relief in what's happening with prices? Probably not. But we can hope, right? Now, anybody, did you guys all see the bow tie economist? He was fabulous. And if you didn't see it, you can always go back and watch it. They viewed it. They recorded it. However, one thing I thought was really interesting that he said is that he said that we're right now in the middle of a bottleneck inflation. So like, for example, lumber prices are climbing down. So that should trickle its way into helping with, perhaps, fingers crossed, new home builders starting to build more. Right? But a bigger issue that we're still having is unemployment. People are getting paid more not to work than to work. So we're still having troubles, but they are talking, maybe of stopping that. We can only hope, right? Because
25 states have already.
25 states. I'm thrilled to hear that. But the more that happens, the more people will go back to work, the more workers will be available. The cost of these supplies I would imagine too, a lot of times cost of supplies are up because they don't have workers. Right? So you have less supply of whatever the inventory is. I mean, lumber, you don't have people cutting it, working in the mills and doing the things they do, right? So this is going to, and what the economist was saying is that, yes, it's going to we're going to have to work through it for a couple months. But once we get on the other side, things should start to level off. So that is exciting. How will that help our prices? Well, honestly, how will that help our situation for our buyers? We need more inventory. So the fact that listings are up will start to help, but really we need the new home builders building. And hopefully this bottleneck, as it starts to lessen up, will get them out there building again, and we can get more people moving and things can start to stabilize. So that's my forecast. Wanted to point out to everybody, once again, I did add in dotloop a multiple offer folder. You all can see that. You have the escalation clause in there. Our escalation clause is good because it does a couple parameter things that other escalation clauses don't. We set the total price we'll be willing to go to. We set the amount we'll be able to increase incrementally. Let's say it's $1,000 until we hit 520. And it also states they have to provide proof. That is critical because there are some escalation clauses there that do not say you have to provide proof. And That leaves to some unscrupulous people to say, yeah, we have multiple offers. How do we know? They don't have to provide us proof. Right? What do you say? They're lying. Like we think that sometimes. I was just talking to an agent yesterday. We're like, I think they're lying. So, so I recommended put in an escalation clause. It's like show it, or it's like show and tell. You got to show us. So yeah, this is just a story. I can't even remember the agent right off the top of my head, but we had a conversation yesterday. Oh, it was Teresa. We put in an offer at listing, right, with an appraisal contingency. And the listing agent called back and said, well, we have another offer, which is the same price. They're both at list price, but that one does not have an appraisal contingency. So if you take off yours, we'll accept yours. Really? Why would you accept ours if it's the same as the other one? Do we think there's another one? Don't know. So I said, throw in an escalation clause. Talk to your buyers, see if they'll be willing to go up maybe $5,000, make it $1,000 incremental. They will have to show you the other offer, right? That's what it says in the escalation clause.
Yeah.
So sometimes we got to be a little creative here, people, because people, I have to say, times like this magnifies people's character. Good, bad, or ugly. So just be aware of that. But we can't ever say you're lying. Obviously, we have to follow a code of ethics, but there are ways to kind of force their hand. So that was my suggestion on that one. Again, the multiple offer forms are in here, and we have under buyers your hold harmless. So this is your home inspection disclosure, which is a hold harmless. If the buyer elects to perform one, or if they elect not to perform one, they will hold harmless Premier Sotheby's International Realty and its associates from liability damages resulting from a home inspection. So we have all these things saying, listen, we're telling you, you need a home inspection. You choose not to, proceed at your own risk.
Should you do this whether they get one or not?
No, if they get one, we're covered, right? And we have in our disclosure, guys, our PSER, we have the wire fraud, which obviously there's so much wire fraud, always send that. And we also have our PSER's recommendations and disclosures. And within that document, it states you should have a home inspection. These are the reasons why. But because of this craziness where people are so desperate and they're trying to waive that inspection, I am scared of all the lawsuits that I'm seeing. I'm seeing more. I've been dealing with more attorneys in the last few months than I've ever had to. I've had buyers and sellers saying, well, we're going to get an attorney. I mean, just things that you never normally would have done. And so I'm just saying, I really think it's so critical right now we protect ourselves and our customers. They're desperate. They're in a weird mind space right now, right? And so they might say, no problem, we'll take it no matter what. And they may not feel that way. Listen, polybutylene piping, you don't know if it's there. Yeah. Right? A seller may not know they have it.
And insurance right now.
Insurance. You can't even get it if you have it. So here's the problem. They could go ahead and buy it, find out they have it. Now they need to change it. Now they're really mad. They say it wasn't disclosed. The seller didn't know about it. Now they're going to come. I know they're going to come back to you and say, how could you let me do that? Right? Like we know that's going to happen. So be very careful and make sure you use this to protect yourself. Okay, that's about the contingency we talked about. OA Corner, please do not archive your sold properties. We will change the status to sold, but do not archive them. We have to find them sometimes. So when you archive them, oftentimes we don't find them. Also, if Naples receives a wire with no ALTA, we can't pay out, right? We must get that ALTA. So they have to get all the paperwork and the money in for us to be able to pay. And if an OA closes an MLS after our listing, the ALTA has to be viewed. So we just have to make sure that all these things have happened in the proper order, okay? All right, happy birthday to our June birthdays. Miss Jody Emmerich, Seda Gulliver, who is in Turkey right now until like June 26th, by the way. Kristen Hibner, Miss Susie Morrison, and Pippa Murray. Woohoo! Okay, what happened in May? Let's talk about it. Southeast Orlando, Ocala, we had $9.9 million in listings. And so let's congratulate Tasha, Miranda, Shane, Tatiana, Magdalis, Carrie, Luciana, Peter, Martin, and Jennifer, Anita, Kristen, Fran, Rainey, Rafe, Christy Keene, and Marima. Woo! All right. In Southeast Orlando and Ocala, May sales, $16.7 million in sales, guys. Whew. Congratulations, Peter, Jennifer, Martin, Shane, Tatiana, Luciana, Beverly, Fran, Miranda, Barbara Ashley Jones, Christy, Tasha, Stacy Rollins, Wendy, Priscilla Vasquez, Moraima, Magdalis, and Rainey. Woo! Deb Bullen. I don't know why, because I thought I had you. Oh, you're on this one. And May closed sales. Guys, these are people who you can ask for a loan. $27.7 million. What? So Peter, Kim, Jennifer, Martin, Shane, Kristen, Erica, Brittany Kaplan, who also is a new mommy, Deb Bullen, Tatiana, Luciana, Fran, Miranda, Barbara Ashley Jones, Christy, Tasha, and Stacy Rollins. Woo! Okay. In Southwest Orlando, May listings, guys, 20 million. That is incredible. Congratulations to Chris and Julie, Alejandro, Janice and Janet, Stacy, Wendy and Art, Maria, Jules Canero, Emily, Wendy and Art. Okay, we need to do something here. Somebody needs to be muted. Who is it? Okay. Miss Cindy, I had to mute her. Okay. Elsie Benitez, Sharon and Susie, Janet Scott, Carrie, Daniel Dorado, new to us, and Janet Scott. Woo! Okay, May sales. Look at this, $23.6 million. Congratulations to Chris and Julie, Gordon, Marilene, Jules, Dexter, Alejandro, Mitchell Freitas, Bruno and Susie, Carol Medeiros, Wendy and Art, Maria Quintero, Janice and Janet, Pippa, Teresa White, Luce, Sharon Brandt and Susie, Sandy Harvey, Stacy Spencer, Carrie Bellish, Carla Rivera, Lori and Barry Cook, Rosanna Parra, and Alexa Coluccio, who, by the way, Craig and Alexa are now married. Woo! Oh, Craig and Alexa, yes. Okay, here we are. In May, in Southwest Orlando, we closed 19 million. Congratulations, Mr. Gordon Kyle, Sharon and Susie, Alejandro, Jaime, Bruno and Susie, Jen Harned, Tracy, Janet and Janet, Maria Quintero, Rosanna, Kelly Thompson, Teresa White, Maria de Gallego, Jules, Emily Pippa, Nick Baker, Sandy Harvey, and Andrea Enlai. Woo! And in Claremont, Miss Dawn has been busy with her team. We have 1.8 million in listings to Dawn Giacchetti. Woo! We've got 10.5 million in sales, guys. Congratulations to Dawn, Janet Hoffman, Tana Darley, and Val Flaherty. Woo! And we closed 2.1 million. Dawn Giacchetti, Janet Hoffman, and Val Flaherty. Amazing job, everybody. That is some terrific work. Oh, and I have to say, there's no men on there. So great job, ladies. So again, nothing compares. I think you guys would have to agree. We have some amazing things going on, some fabulous, exciting news. Again, we are saddened by the loss of a very dear team member, and I will be sending out the invite to her celebration of life as well as the GoFundMe in case you'd care to participate. But I know she would say, congratulations to each and every one of you. I am proud to be on your team. We are in this together. So anything I can do to help you be more successful, to take advantage of those listing opportunities, contact me. We are here for you, whatever you need. Have a great week, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.